So, at long last, as long as I have no more foul ups, because I've tried this twice and failed to put in some movies I had already seen. I had seen the last month. So here it is finally, my April 2022 first time watches ranking complete in its entirety for good. Big Days Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to as the Big D, back again with another ranking. Today I'm going to rank my April 2022 first-time watches. There are 30 films, and this time, unlike my first two attempts, this is my third attempt at filming this, since I failed to include some films I went and saw in the theaters. But this time, it's full, and now I can finally give it to you. There are 30 movies here, so I'm going to try and get this over with. So I will go rapid fire on the first 25 films, and then I'll be back on to give you the top 5, okay? Good. Now, if you're ready, here comes the ranking. Sit back, relax, and here we go. Number 30 is Geely from 2003. This movie is dull. Not much to be said. This film bombed at the box office. I think you know the story and what have you. I was not all thrilled with this. After avoiding this for so long, I saw it was on Tubi and I thought, well, just this once. And you know what? Another film I regret watching. Avoid this crap. If you've seen my review and rant on this, good. Because that vid was my second most viewed video for last month. Number 29 is Marmaduke from 2010. Another film I didn't think I would care for, but since it was on Tubi, I thought maybe give it a try. This film's okay, but it's not great, even with Owen Wilson voicing the character, even though we don't talk in the comics. But anyway, the film has some funny moments, but this film isn't really great of a canine flick. Oh well. Anyway, I found out Netflix has a new Marmaduke animated feature coming up later in the month. Maybe I'll watch it. I don't know if I'll review it though. But this film's alright, but not great. Number 29 is number 28. I'm sorry, I got too far back ahead. Sorry. Number 28 is Anaconda's Trail of Blood from 2009. Now I watched this in the third one. We'll see where that winds up. This film's alright, but the CGI they used for the Anaconda was, alright, but not great. And the blood was kind of a little bland too, but they brought back Crystal Allen and John Rhys Davies for this since they were in the last film. But anyway, this at least they continued this film from the previous film. But overall, at least it had some blame on it, even though the blood wasn't really great in CGI form, you know. Number 27 is The Prey from 1983. This film has a good atmosphere being in the woods and what have you, but some of it wasn't really too great considering I saw the US version of this. I know there's an international cut of this which has more footage not shown in the actual US release that was cut out and what have you. But if I happen to encounter it, I will definitely look into it. And I think I heard from someone that the kills are much better than this version. So The Prey's still an okay movie. Maybe I'll review it one day. You never can tell. Number 26 is Universal Soldier, Day of Reckoning from 2012. While this film's okay, but it's not really that great. But it does have some intense violence and what have you. Having Van Damme back as Luke Devereaux was good, but, well, wasn't really great though. But it was good to have Dolph Lundgren back in this, and that made this a little good. Still maybe not as good as the original, maybe not quite as close as good as Universal Soldier The Return, but overall I think this is still a decent type of film. Number 25 is Anaconda 3, Offspring from 2008. Now, this film, I watched this in the fourth film on Tubi. I had a little bit of an Anaconda marathon because I watched the first one on Netflix and the other 3 on here. Now, although I have yet to see Lake Placid vs. Anaconda, the last film of the series, this film's Well, okay and all. I mean, with David Hasselhoff, it's pretty good. Well, he's pretty good in ways. And, well, again, the CGI is not great with the anaconda and the blood. At least this was rated R, not PG-13 like its predecessor. So it did have a little bit of factually bloody goodness. But some of it was just CGI crap. Number 24 is Wild Things Foursome from 2010. This film, it really cranks the heat up. Although it's mostly the same kind of mystery and suspense we got from the other three attempts in this franchise, this one I think is, well, okay and all. I mean, well, I liked the last film, which was a step up from the previous film, but this one just kind of turned up the heat and what have you on the babes and what have you. But, well, I can't consider it to be the best because I'm like the original Wild Things, you know. It's still a great film. But this one kind of tries to do its extreme best. Number 23 is Starship Troopers 3 Marauder from 2008. This third installment of the Starship Troopers franchise was a little bit of a big step up, well, slightly big step up from the last film. Bringing back Casper Van Dien as Johnny Rico from the first film was a good touch. And, well, at least this has a little bit of a factual feel of the first film in some ways, but not really. At least they have brought Paul Verhoeven on board to present the film. Anyway, at least this is a pretty good movie in some ways, but not as good as the original, though. But at least it's a step up from the last one. Number 22 is Dead Time Stories from 1986. This is kind of an underrated horror anthology flick about this guy who tells this little boy, well, twisted versions of fairy tales that include witches, Red Riding Hood, and Goldilocks and the Three Bears, only it doesn't involve actual bears. Anyway, which that was my favorite bit of this film. This film's so underrated. I might rewatch it again sometime, and if it's still there to watch on Tubi, maybe, mind you, I might think of doing this for Spooktacular October this year. Again, this is pretty underrated, and I think this would be worth a watch for any horror fans. Number 21 is Over the Top from 1987. This film with Sly himself is reasonable. Maybe not as good as some of the other films I've seen him in, like Rocky and Rambo and what have you, but this one's kind of underrated. I mean, he plays a truck driver who tries to reconcile with his son and what have you, and then, well, he gets involved in an arm wrestling tournament. Yeah, this film's not too bad. Maybe not one of Sly's best, but still, it's not bad. Number 20 is The Initiation from 1984. Another underrated horror flick. It's a slasher. And after watching this, I gotta say, this was good. I'll definitely review this for Spooktacular October. This just was so shocking. And it's got some hot gals in it. I'm just gonna say, this is definitely worth a look into. Again, gotta review this. Number 19 is Step Up to the Streets from 2008. Oops, I almost gave it 19. It's 19 something. Forgive me. Anyway, this film's not too bad. The second installment of the Step Up series, I managed to watch this in the first and third ones. We'll see where those wind up. This film's got some good moments. Probably not my favorite. Well, unfortunately, since Tubi had the fifth one, but they didn't have the fourth one. If I happen to see the fourth and fifth ones one day, I might just watch them and then maybe review this franchise. It's a little underrated, but I do like some of the choreography and what have you, especially the last bit where the dancers are out in the rain giving a real dance off. That's incredible. It's pretty good. Number 18 is Four Brothers from 2005. Another underrated film, but still, this did pretty well with it having Mark Wahlberg, Tyrese Gibson, Andre Benjamin, you know, from Outcast. Yeah, this film's pretty good. And after finally watching it on Netflix, I gotta say, this film is pretty anti-pad. It does have some pretty odd, funny moments and what have you, but overall, it's not too bad of a real good film. Number 17 is Rumble from last year in 2021. Now, this film was originally supposed to come to theaters, but after being delayed so come picking many times, it got sent to Paramount Plus. But since I don't have it, it actually came on Epics, and actually, for no particular reason, it somehow came up on Amazon Prime. So I watched it. You can check out my review if you'd like. This film is good. Not really one of the best, even though it was produced by the same animation studio behind The Book of Life and Freebirds. I do like the monsters in this film. These monsters are really something. I thought Rumble wasn't too bad. Number 16 is Morbius, which came to theaters last month. This film really got panned by the critics, much more than Venom did. But anyway, the film still did okay in YV. It probably won't do as good as we hoped for, but that's okay. To heck with what critics say. If you haven't seen my spoiler-free review of this, you can check out. I have defended this film a little, but not completely. Jared Leo's not too bad as the title character. And with former Doctor Who Matt Smith in this makes it even more interesting. But anyway, this is one bloody vampire flick to experience. Number 15 is Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore, which also got released in theaters last month. Now, I don't know why in the comic blooming world it's gone down, it's low on the tomato meter. At least it's higher than Crimes of Grindelwald. The film's not too bad. I thought this was a step up from the last one. But anyway, I had a lot of fun with this. This was a fun, magical experience. The cast was great, even with the addition of a new player of Grindelwald. This film's pretty good. Not the best of the films in the Wizarding world, but it manages to pull some stuff off. Number 14 is Baronate Than Ever, which came to Disney Plus last month. And I'm going to say this film was a fun experience. I wish it could have had some more music, but I did like it for what it was. The cast was good, and the atmosphere around New York was really good. So I'm going to say this was not too bad, and considering it was directed by the guy who wrote the book, because this is based on a book, and like I say, it wasn't too bad. Number 13 is Clifford the Big Red Dog, also a book-based film, released last year in 2021. At first I didn't know what to think of this film, but like Rumble, this somehow came on Amazon Prime while it was on it had been on Paramount Plus when it originally, and then at the time it came to theaters, and it had been on Epics. I found it and decided to give it a try. If you haven't seen my review of it, check it out. This film isn't too bad. They are planning to do a sequel to this. This film's more fun than what I had expected. The cast isn't too bad, but Clifford, wow, he's funny. Number 12 is Step Up from 2006. Now, I had not really taken the time to see these films, and after watching them, I'm going to say they were all pretty good from what I've seen. Even though I didn't see the fourth and fifth ones, since Tubi didn't have the fourth one, but they had the fifth one, but I didn't want to get ahead of myself. Anyway, this is the film that actually introduced us to Channing Tatum before G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra, or Magic Mike. I think this film is just so underrated. I never thought this would be that good. I definitely gotta review this film and defend it, since this and its sequel got dissed and what have you. Number 11 is Step Up 3, or Step Up 3D as it was also known as, from 2010. Now, unlike the previous two, this film got better response. It got mixed response and did pretty well. I have to say it was really good. The cast wasn't too bad. It does have some fun moments. And the big dance-off in the end, really something. I think this is probably the best I've seen of the films. But until I see the fourth and fifth ones, that could change. Maybe not. Just stay tuned and we'll see. Number 10 is Metal Lords, film that recently came on Netflix last month. This film's pretty cool. Never thought it would be, but it has a good feel of good hard rocking music and metal. I mean, these two guys are trying to get their on metal band started until one of them, the drummer, manages to get a gal who plays a cello to help them out. That was really cool. If you haven't seen my review of this, check it out, and you gotta check out this movie. You're going to see some cameos by some rock stars. Number 9 is The Rock from 1996. Now, yeah, I had not taken the time to see the whole movie of this. I'd seen a little bit of this, but not all of it. This film's so awesome. Michael Bay's first big film, long before he directed the Transformers films and what have you, as well as the more recent Ambulance, which I have yet to see. I'll see it sometime or sooner. But this film is so awesome and action-packed with a great cast that includes Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, and Ed Harris. This film's pretty awesome. I'll have to review this film sometime. Maybe next month or what have you. Maybe during the summer. We'll see what happens. This film's so action-packed. Number 8 is The Jerk from 1979. This film was the film that put Steve Martin on the map. I gotta say, he was absolutely very funny in this. The whole cast was really funny. Bernadette Peters was really good. I just loved everyone's performances. This film is absolutely a blast. And it's got so much comedy you'll laugh your crazy head off at this. I definitely gotta review this film sometime or sooner. Number 7 is The Other Guys from 2010. Now, I've only seen a little bit of this film, but when I saw it on Netflix, I gotta say, this film was absolutely funny. Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg put on absolutely great performances. This film is absolutely hysterical and what have you, especially with what happens to Samuel L. Jackson and Dwayne Johnson early on in the film. Very funny and what have you. I definitely need to review this film as well. It's absolutely a fun-filled buddy cop flick. Number 6 is Dirty Dancing from 1987. Yeah, you heard me correctly. I'm probably going to get controversy for this and what have you. I had not really seen the whole movie and what have you. I've seen bits and pieces of it. But after finally seeing it, this film is so awesome. I will do a review of this for its 35th anniversary later this year. I love the performances we got from everyone, most notably Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey. They were all good. The music's good. Of course, it's well known for its soundtrack, which includes tunes like Hungry Eyes and I Had the Time of My Life. Yeah, absolutely really good. Great choreography, great cast, story. Enough said. I sure do hope you've been enjoying this so far, because I've been going rapid fire big time. Yeah, because I didn't want to give too much and what have you, since I've already tried filming this twice and been forgetting films and what have you. First I forget Fantastic Beasts, and the second time I forgot Morbius. So now you know why I delayed this and what have you. So now that's changed and what have you. The top 5 is just about to begin. And boy, I gotta tell you, it's gonna be a big surprise to y'all, too. So if you're ready, let's get into the final stretch of movies in this ranking. Coming in at number 5 is The Bad Guys, which recently came to theaters. Anyway, I absolutely loved this movie. May not be one of DreamWorks Animation's best, but even so, it had a lot of fun and thrills and what have you. It did have a few issues with the pacing and what have you. Well, yeah, a little slight slowdown and what have you. But nevertheless, this film proved to be an absolute fun and filled thrill ride. Yeah, so it was a slight issue with the pacing. But anyway, it didn't really deduct any points from me. I love the performances we got from the cast that includes Sam Rockwell, Mark Maron, Aquafina, Craig Robinson, Anthony Ramos. Let's see. Yeah. Alex Borstein, yeah. This film is absolutely really funny, and if you haven't seen this film, you better see it while you still can. But anyway, I feel like this film is just so cool. And it's got a lot of fun moments. It makes you feel like you're seeing the Danny Ocean films, in my view. Just outrageously, really, really funny. Take your kids to see it. They'll like it. Of course, it's loosely based on the book series of the same name, so yeah. I did read they are thinking about doing a sequel. The director of the film's interested in it, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's the bad guys. If you haven't seen my review of it, you can check it out. And coming in at number 4 is Stripes from 1981. Now, I only seen a tiny bit of this film, but now that I finally watched the film in its entirety, this film's absolutely hysterical. Directed by Ivan Reitman, whom we sadly lost a few months ago, before he directed Ghostbusters, and this featured two of the stars of that film, Bill Murray and Harold Ramis. Plus a great cast that included John Candy and Judge Reinhold. Let's see. PJ Souls, from Carrie and the original Halloween. And Sean Young. Yeah. This film is absolutely funny. Two friends who are dissatisfied with their jobs decide to join the army for a bit of fun. And they do. I'm going to say this film was so hysterical. I really did enjoy it. Now, I do know there's an extended cut of the film. I'll have to look into it. If I do happen to encounter it, I will most certainly check it out. But anyway, Stripes is just a whole lot of fun. I definitely need to review this film, because I think this is just as hysterical as I thought it would be. But anyway, that's enough about that. Okay, onward to the top 3. Coming in at number 3 is Blinded by the Light from 2019. Now, this film may not have done so well at the box office, but still, I gotta give this film credit for what it did. The film's also known as Music of My Life, and it was inspired by the life of a journalist and his love of the works of Bruce Springsteen. Yeah. And that man, of course, was Sarfraz Manzoor. Of course, he co-wrote the script with Gurinder Chadha, I'm sorry if I mispronounced those names, and Paul Mayeda Burgess, based on Manzoor's memoir, Greetings from Bury Park, Race, Religion, and Rock and Roll. Of course, it's a coming-of-age story about this British Pakistani Muslim teenager whose life is changed after he discovers the music of Springsteen. Very good performances from the cast. I love the music we hear from Springsteen. We don't get to hear a whole lot of, good ones. We get to hear some good ones, like, let's see, take Born to Run, for example, because I like the part where, the guy who gets inspired by this breaks into his school's radio station and locks out the DJ as he puts on Born to Run. Oh man, this film was absolutely a good one. I think this would be perfect to review someday, and I will. Certainly. Yeah, my word. And coming in at number 2 is Ridley Scott's Blade Runner from 1982. Now, I might have seen bits of it, but I can't guarantee that. But this film was a good one. I will review this film for its 40th anniversary later on this year. With a great cast that includes Harrison Ford, Rutger Hauer, and Sean Young. What can I say? This film's so awesome. I do know there's a director's cut of it, but what I saw was the actual final cut of the film, which, of course, was. Let me see if I can get to my source. Let's see. Yes, which was released for the film's 25th anniversary in 2007. And it was the only version over which Scott retained artistic control. I'm going to say this was just so incredible. And although I did see the sequel to it, Blade Runner 2049, which was good, but I gotta say, this film was so awesome. It was action-packed. This was a great sci-fi action-packed flick. Again, you will get a review of this later on this year. So Blade Runner is absolutely awesome. And finally, my number one first-time watch of April 2022 is Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which has now become the most successful video game movie adaptation to date. I gotta say, this is a big improvement on the first one. It may have a little bit of issues with the pacing and what have you, but still, this film is a blast. Jim Carrey once again is great as Robotnik. Ben Schwartz once again does a great job in voicing Sonic. James Marsden's back. Let's see. And we got Colleen O'Shaughnessy who voices Tails. Of course, this wouldn't be the first time she voiced that character because she recently did him in the Sonic Boom cartoon series. And Idris Elba, who did the voice of Knuckles. Very impressive. I gotta say, this is awesome. Now, I've been reading that Jim Carrey's going to retire, but let's hope for the best that he doesn't do it just yet, since they have already confirmed the third film and what have you. But anyway, this film was so awesome. It had an even bigger feel of the video game series, going from kind of like a little bit of a section that resembled the Labyrinth Zone, which was one of the most frustrating levels in the original Sonic game, to the big robot at the end. Kind of almost reminds me of the big robot confrontation in the Death Egg Zone in the actual Sonic the Hedgehog 2 video game. But anyway, and of course you get a mid-credit scene where it reveals a new character, but I'm not telling you who that is if you haven't seen the film. But anyway, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is awesome. I loved it. So now you know what my first time watches of April 2022 are. So what were your first time watches of April 2022? Tell me what's your top favorite. You can give me your top 3 or top 5 tops. And tell me in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a re-review of Doctor Strange in order to promote the brand new film Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Thank you for watching, and if you like this, consider checking out my reviews for some of the films I had just talked about. In the upper left-hand corner is my review for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The upper right-hand corner is my review of Clifford, the Big Red Dog, and the bottom left-hand corner is my review of The Bad Guys. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.